But now looking back at the season overall, certainly it was a magical year. But from your perspective, what did you like about this team that did so well this season?
Persistence, their ability to also improve while still winning. I thought Jeremy and his staff did a fantastic job of orchestrating that throughout the season. We've said it several times over the last 10, 11 years that we walk that fine line of wanting to develop but also wanting to win, and I thought that we did that this year very well. Our staff handled that very well with a lot of young players. We were able to have success on the ice while also have success developing and pushing some of these players up to Chicago.
And with that, it felt like the development process might have been expedited a little bit in the playoffs with just all the experiences they had to face, all the overtimes, and obviously the changeover in roster that we saw leading into the postseason. What did you like about some of these younger players that evolved rather quickly during a tough postseason run?
Well, I think they showed a lot of grit and resilience. It's playoff hockey isn't easy. It's hard hockey. It's high pressure. You're playing for your lives out there. You don't want your season to end and go home. And these players showed time and time again a lot of resiliency, and it's great for their development. There's nothing like playoff hockey, and unfortunately we fell a little short, but in the big picture, the players will benefit from this run.
And now, is there players that you're keeping a closer eye on because of their playoff run, now looking to make camps, obviously a shorter summer, so training camps and everything, the X's and O's, and obviously the data compiled is going to pick up here pretty soon?
Yeah, we have to. We'll dissect everything here as once the dust settles from the player exit meetings and everything. But we're very proud of the group here and what they've accomplished. And it's going to be a short summer for them. They have to take a little time off now and let their bodies rest and heal, and before getting back into the off-season training programs. But training camp in Chicago will settle a lot of the questions. That's what training camp's for. And as I said to the players in their exit meetings yesterday, you have to come in looking for a job. You can't be just coming in happy that you're going to training camp, happy that you have a contract. Come in and take someone's job away. And if that means you have to be physical and run over your best friend in the dressing room, well, who do you want to have the job, you or him? But training camp settles a lot of those things, and it's always an interesting time of year, and it's going to be exciting to see how these players that have gained all this experience through this playoff run are going to work that into their training camps.
It's going to be exciting to see a lot of these prospects, again, like you said, trying to make the cut and make it to the Blackhawks roster. But a lot of those young guys also, during their exit interviews with us, mentioned how much the veterans helped them out throughout the season. Your Cody Franson, your Victor Svedberg, your Adam Clendennings, looking at their contract statuses as they're up for grabs, I guess, come July 1st. Is that something that you as a general manager and the coaching staff are kind of approaching, knowing that we might need a veteran core to maybe help carry some of these younger guys that might be coming in next year?
Well, we will. We have to also look at the lineup that's already in that locker room. You have players all of a sudden that are going into their third year, like a Carl Dahlstrom and Robin Norrell, and you've got players now that are coming back for year two that might be able to take on a bigger leadership role. So we'll look at the lineup, and players like Adam Clendenning, Cody Franz, and Lance Bouma. Those players came down and played very well for us, and I couldn't say enough about them professionally and how they handled, coming into Rockford and working with the younger players, and how valuable they were for us down the stretch, because they all handled it, fantastic. Lance and Cody coming down from Chicago couldn't have been easy for them at that time. They could have just went through the motions, but they bought into what Jeremy and his staff were doing here, and were tremendous for us down the stretch, and both on the ice and off the ice. Their locker room presence was huge, and early in the year, really the only veteran voices we had in that locker room were Jeff Glass and Victor Svedberg, and grabbing Clendenning and Lance and Cody and even DiDomenico, those were big adds to us down the stretch, and they all came in and contributed very well and were a big part of our success.
And now when you go back to Chicago and talk things over with the staff, I know you were up there keeping a close eye on everyone with Al McIsaac and the brass from the Blackhawks. What are you going to be looking at from this playoff run in terms of analytically and I guess the growth of these players moving into the summers? Because obviously I know a lot of the exit meetings will be based off of, you're here at this bar and we want you to push yourself to this bar. What are you looking for?
Well, it's basically looking at their summer plan. Going through, they've already done what they've done on the ice. Now it's making sure that they're going to handle their off-ice plans properly and do everything that they can to be prepared for training camp when they get to Chicago in September, and they're able to compete for that spot in the Blackhawks lineup. So we want to make sure that they're communicating with our strength coach Paul Goodman in Chicago, making sure that they're doing all the things necessary to give themselves that chance. And we also encourage them to take time maybe to come into Chicago and work out for a week or two. So Paul Goodman has a chance to get hands-on with these guys, and if they need to work on a particular area, they still have time during the summer months to do it. So it's going to be a short summer, but I'm sure a very productive summer for a lot of these players. And I know if they had it their way, training camp would start next week. But it's going to be a short summer, and before you know it, we'll be back at it.
Well, with that being said, final question for you, Mr. Bernard. It is going to be a short summer, and I know you're going to have your hands full downtown. Are you going to be able to take some time off and unwind and kind of reflect back? Because you've been with this organization for a while, and for the first time for this team to go all the way to the Western Conference Finals and to do it the way they did was certainly a memorable experience, I'd imagine.
Well, it was a great year. It was really a great year, a lot of fun. There was a lot of positivity right from our coaching staff down through the players, and there's really no such thing as an off season in hockey anymore. And we're used to, we've been used to long summers or short summers in Chicago and long playing seasons. So it's really nothing new. We have the draft coming up, our development camp, the convention, American Hockey League meetings. So there's a lot happening. So we'll have to see if in August I can step away for a week or two. But it's going to be a short summer, and we're already looking forward to training camp and getting to Traverse City.